I haven't made a school rant video in a while, so why don't I make another one while I wait for Red Dead Redemption 2 to install onto my PS5. I always had a pretty love-hate relationship with fire drills when I was still in school. On one hand, I really liked them because they allowed me to miss a significant portion of a class I may not like, but on the other hand, I kind of felt they were pretty fucking stupid back then. For one, when I was in high school and if we had a fire drill during class, you want to know what the teacher would do with all that classwork we missed out on? Just dump it onto us for homework. Like, say, if we had to copy notes, we would have to go on the teacher's website and copy the rest of the notes that we were supposed to copy during that period, or if we had classwork, we would have to do it for homework, and it was just a fucking mess. And every time we had a fire drill, I would have a bunch of homework dumped onto me for the night afterwards. Especially my economics and government classes. I had economics the first semester of my senior year in high school, and I had government the second, and the teacher I had for those classes was a complete fucking hard ass. I had him for history in ninth grade, and I made a whole rant on him years ago. It's in my school rants playlist. You can watch that if you're curious, if you want to know why exactly I hated him so much. But basically, he would give us a shit ton of homework if we had a fire drill during his class, and I hated it so much every time we would have a fire drill during his class because I hated his class. He was a complete hard ass and a complete douchebag, and I would miss a significant portion of his class, but in the back of my mind, I would know that I would have a shit ton of homework that night. So any happiness of missing a huge portion of his class that day was sullied by the fact that, again, he would just dump a bunch of classwork onto us to do for homework. And overall, I just hated the process of fire drills in school. Look, I get it. I completely understand the point of fire drills. It's to familiarize students with all the escape routes in case an actual fire does break out in the school. And fire drills should absolutely exist. This is not me advocating for the abolition of fire drills in school or any place, of course, but it was still a pretty annoying process because we would have to form a straight line, follow the teacher would count us one by one, and we would get chewed out if we were to talk during the fire drill, which always annoyed me because it's a fire drill. All the students would be gathered outside, so obviously they would see it as social hour, and the teachers would be pissed the hell off and say asinine things like, if this is a real fire, you'd be dead right now because you wouldn't be taking it seriously whatsoever. Here's the fucking thing. There's a fundamental difference between a fire drill and an actual fire breaking out in the school. I feel like if there was a real fire in the school, people would take that a lot more seriously and be a lot more obedient towards the teachers because that is actually a life-threatening situation. When it comes to knowing which exits to go through and knowing the alarm sound that signifies there's a fire in the building, time to get out now, I have no problem with fire drills, but this forming a line shit, this being quiet as a mouse shit, I've always had an issue with because of course they're going to teach you that in fire drills because if everyone's huddled at an exit during a fire, that's a huge fucking risk, but it's really unrealistic because people are going to panic. People are going to freak out if there is a real fire breaking out in a building. You really think if the building torched on fire, all the students would be calm, collected, forming a line, slowly going out the exits? Fuck no, everyone's gonna panic, everyone's gonna freak out, everyone's gonna be loud, everyone's gonna be running. I sure as fuck would run to the closest exit because I don't want to risk dying in a fire. There's a video I watched kinda sorta recently where the person in the video plays the teacher and all of the students, and the video does a good job making fun of the expectation that fire drills place on the students by showing everyone just all calm and collected, slowly walking out of the school, and then they're outside of the school, and then the teacher is all nonchalant and like, let me call out the names of all my students as the school burns down right behind them, and I'm like, yes, this video is so fucking accurate because this actually feels like how the staff expects people to react to a fire breaking out in the building, and I'll link the video in the description if I remember to. Obviously, people should be in order if it's a fire breaking out in only one room of the building, but if it's actually a serious fire that's going across the whole building, you can't expect people to be calm during that. You can't expect people to follow all the rules during that because it's fight or flight at that point. Everyone's gonna make a run for it to the nearest exit. People are gonna run for their fucking lives because, again, they don't want to die in a fire. So that's why fire drills annoyed me when I was in school. I understand the point of them, of course, and like I said earlier, I'm not advocating for them to be abolished because that would be preposterous. Obviously, people need to know which exits to go through and to know what the alarm sounds like in case of a real fire occurring in the school, but I feel like they could be handled a lot better. I also just simply didn't like being outside with a bunch of people crowded around me because, you know me, I don't like human interaction all that much, and when I have that many people surrounding me, it just makes me feel very uncomfortable, and I just really don't like it at all. But that's a problem with me and me only, so I can't really harp on that too much. Anyway, Red Dead Redemption 2 is nearly finished installing, so I'm gonna end this video now and play that game very, very soon. I'm hyped. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.